That's MidlothianMusic.com.
You are listening to Get Down to Business. I'm your host, Shalom Klein, and thrilled to be joined in studio by my good friend, Sally Chapralis, who is a business communications, public relations expert, and occasional teacher as well. Sally, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here.
So, Sally, before we talk communications, and I'm eager to get some of those valuable tips from you, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I started out in the journalism side. I actually thought I was going to be an English teacher at high school, and I said, no, I don't think so. So I went looking for a full-time job in journalism, and I found it in the business-to-business market on a variety of building construction magazines. And one thing led to another. I worked at agencies in a variety of places. And then in 1984, on leap year day, I decided to take the leap. I decided I would experiment and see if I could do it on my own, and I kept my full-time job, and I just worked a time and a half getting to see if I could do this, and I did, and that's what I started my business.
Amazing, fantastic, a true entrepreneurial success story. So your website says that you work with businesses ranging from healthcare to construction, and probably a little bit of everything in between. Sally, tell us a little bit about the work and services that you provide.
Well, a lot of it has to do with writing. A lot of it is putting together website content, newsletters, a variety of kinds of projects.
And with today's technology, I'm assuming a little bit of blogging as well?
Yes, and I have one, and thank you so much for reminding me. Besides my website, which has several pages and lots of tips and things that you can learn from, I have a blog called First Person Public Relations, and it's all about you, the business, and how to grow it. And I interview experts for each blog post. It's not coming from me, it's coming from the expert. Occasionally, I'll actually go to an expert's book, but it usually comes from a live interview. And I encourage people, because it's right up the small business market.
Well, that's important. So, First Person Public Relations blog. Sally, I don't want to take your for taking the term from Coca-Cola, the secret recipe, the secret formula. But I'm sure that there are a few just teasers and tips that you can provide for some of our small business listeners. First of all, is it possible for small businesses to benefit from public relations and real business communications, or is that just for the big guys?
No, first of all, let's start with this. We are all walking testimonials of what somebody can expect. So it starts with you, and you can more than benefit from PR and business communications because there's such a variety of things that come in that package. And it's just knowing, the first thing I always suggest is join a local a professional association, whether it's in your field, and find them because they're going to be a source of a lot of tips. And then tell people that you're in business and network, and remember reciprocity. And the other thing is, I really, really, really can't say this enough, listen more than anything else. Just remember that there's a lot of things that just require your listening and asking questions. I'll never forget, and this is really important, I think, that when I teach, I always invite somebody from a company to come and talk to students, but the same thing applies to entrepreneurs. And I say, I already know the answer. I say, what could somebody do when somebody's interviewing with you? What could they do better, whether it's to get a new client or it's to get a new job? And the answer is always the same. If I ask you at the end of the interview, do you have any questions? And you say no, you will never be hired and you will never get the job, because if you don't have any questions, something's not happening here. And it just requires, some people might think, well, it wouldn't be polite to ask the question. They want to see what your feedback is and how you know. And I remember inviting a boss, and he said the same thing internally, that when he has a business meeting with the employees, and at the end of it, they're all talking, and then he'll say to them, well, does anybody have any questions? And they say mostly no. And he said, well, then we'll continue this meeting another time because you should have some questions. So listening, remembering that the whole point of communication is, no matter what form it takes, is the word communication, which its core word is finding something in common.
That's for sure. So valuable tips. Remember, most importantly, to listen. And Sally's website has a lot more tips, PR tips. And of course, she mentioned the first-person public relations blog. We're talking with Sally Chapralis, who is a business communications and public relations expert, as I said, occasional teacher as well. And it's been my pleasure to join you in the classroom a few times. And I'm looking forward to it's coming right up. Another.
Yes, it is. They love it when you come.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. So, Sally, I want to make sure that we give people the opportunity to get a hold of you if they want to learn more, because you only provided a little bit of a teaser on some of these tips. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, first of all, my website is www.sally, S-A-L-L-Y, Chapralis, CHAPRALIS.com. And then whether you access it via my website or you go separately to the blog, it's first-person public relations about you and growing your business.
Fantastic.
And I think they'll find it. It usually seems to come up right away.
Wonderful. Well, Sally, we're sure going to have you back on to talk a little bit more about some of these tips, advice, and information. But remember, listeners, to listen. That's what it's all about. Sally has it right. You have to listen in order to be successful. And that core word of communicate is, what do you have in common? Communicate, get together, follow up over coffee. And that's what I'll be talking to your students about, Sally, in just a few short weeks. So, Sally Chapralis,
yes.
Thanks for joining us on Get Down to Business. Check out our website, sallychapralis.com. Check out our blog, First Person Public Relations. And after the break, I'm going to be sharing some networking tips as well as some information about how to pick an email provider. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. Find them at tandemhr.com. Until then, don't touch that dial. We've got a few quick announcements, then I'll be right back.
Hi there.